repeat of last year's Manchester FA Cup final coming up. As you know, yesterday United led 3-0 with 20 minutes left. After the game, Erik ten Hag was asked if there was a sense of embarrassment at how they'd got through.
No, I can't see that word, because in the end of the day it's about the achievement and the mistakes we make. We can't look away from it, but it's not an embarrassment, it's a huge achievement.
I think that's something we might talk about a little during the course of the morning, don't you? Not an embarrassment. I mean, Roy Keane disagrees. He said Coventry looked like the Premier League team. Manchester United looked like a championship side. I mean, to stick with Keane, he says, whenever I see this United team, I don't like what I see. Ali, he should be embarrassed, shouldn't he?
Well, I don't like the word, Jeff, and I'll tell you why. Because I think it's actually disrespectful to Coventry. Right. Should Manchester United be beating Coventry? Yes, of course they should, right? And particularly if you're 3-0 up with 19 minutes to go. But to use the word embarrassment, I just think it's a slap in the face to Coventry more than anything, who were absolutely magnificent yesterday, right? But it's a funny one. I understand where Roy's coming from. And should Manchester United win that semi-final? Yes, of course they should. Should they be 3-0 up and seen out with 19, 20 minutes to go? Yes. So in that respect, it's shocking. It's really, really poor. It is. But at the same time, Jeff napped it beforehand. I did the quarter-final game against Wolves, and Coventry were excellent. They've got goals in their team, Sims, Hadji, boys, that could play at that top level in terms of in the top flight. They were unlucky last year. I think they're beating penalties by Luton. So they're a side that, can more than handle themselves. But from Manchester United's point of view, dear me, Jeff, that would have been unthinkable. I mean, and it was so close, as we know, with the disallowed goal to have been one of the greatest. It would have been one of the greatest FA Cup stories ever.
We will talk about it a lot more, obviously. United fans, let's hear from you. Erik ten Hag wasn't embarrassed, were you? 03717 223344. After all, your team is the one that'll be in the final. But there was also massive drama in the Premier League as Everton beat Forest 2-0 in a huge game at the bottom. But of course, the headlines were all about the officiating. Forest releasing a press statement after the game as they felt they were denied 3 clear penalties. That statement read 3 extremely poor decisions, 3 penalties not given, which we cannot accept. We warned the PGMOL that the VAR is a Luton fan before the game, but they didn't change him. Our patience has been tested multiple times. NFFC will now consider its options. Their boss, Nuno Espirito Santo, then had this to say.
He's not a fan of Luton. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in the end of the day. That doesn't matter. He's there to do his job. In starting with Anthony Taylor today, he did a bad job. And VAR did a bad job because the decisions are bad. I'm telling you, after we lose a game, everybody will say, okay, look at the manager, look, he's getting excuses. No, it's not an excuse. It's the reality.
Ali, just sour grapes from Forest, or were they right?
Oh, I think they were right. In the respect, I think they certainly should have had at least 1, potentially 2 penalties. I wanted a quick look at them last night, Jeff, and I'll have another quick look at them. But they're right in that respect. They're totally wrong in the way they went about it with what they've said and things like that. I think you can't be accusing people of supporting other teams and pointing a finger at them. Potentially saying that they're going to go against you.
But I tell you what, though, Ali, if they did, and I don't know, if they did point it out to the PGMOL beforehand, wouldn't it have been an obvious thing for the PGMOL simply to change the VAR?
No. Why should they? You're accusing somebody of potentially. Cheating, in fact, is the word you'd use. If you start doing that, you'd have every club in the country up and down saying, well, we don't like him, so we don't want him. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll have him because we like him, he was good again.
Yeah, but certain referees don't referee certain clubs because of their allegiance to them.
Yes, but I think you go down a really, really tricky road. And by the way, all I'm saying all match officials, the vast majority of match officials will have a preferred club, because that is absolutely natural.
Yeah.
Of course it is. But I just think, Jeff, you're going down a very tricky road if you start saying to governing bodies, we're not happy with him, we'd rather... I don't think you can get down that road, mate.
By the way, I thought all three were penalties.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the statement was right afterwards.
Yeah.
But all three for me, they were penalties. Just a very quick text from Nick the Unhappy Hammer in Tunbridge Wells. Morning, Jeff and Ali. I find myself falling out of love with a beautiful game. Not only the many controversial VAR decisions, but also the ridiculous decision from the FA and Premier League to scrap replays in the FA Cup from next season. Before moving to Kent, I was a director for many years at a non-league club. I know just how much it meant to us. And by the way, without replays in the FA Cup this season, we might not have had that game yesterday, because Coventry needed a replay to beat Sheffield Wednesday on their way to that final. It's another rotten decision from the people at the top of the game.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.